Hey, what up YouTube? How is everyone doing on YouTube? I want to talk about three interesting things. One, the movie 12 Years a Slave. Awesome movie. I'm going to go more in depth on that in a little bit. This 2002 Batman comic book. It's alright. Three. First thing is, I'm going to start talking about these pocket knives right here. You can find you can find these particular pocket knives almost anywhere and everywhere. I actually enjoy having I'm missing one of them, but I actually enjoy having these small these small box sets of pocket knives, because if you miss one, you can just always grab another one, even though sometimes these are just made for decorating purposes. But these right here actually have a blade to them. The only thing I don't like about them is that they're made in China. That's about it. Another thing I actually enjoy about these are that they're made of wood, real wood. So you can actually use these and they won't break as easy as the plastic ones do. Boxes of pocket knives like these little sets normally run from anywhere from 10 to 20 bucks. Not exactly this particular set, but you can find these kind of sets anywhere. They're kind of neat. If you're going to buy a set like this, make sure they're plastic. Don't buy the plastic. Do not buy the plastic. Buy only the wooden ones or the metal ones, because the plastic ones will break on you and they will fall apart. Unlike these ones. Another thing I do like about these ones, they have this little thumb thing right here, so you can always snap the knife open, bam, so than having to fidget with it. So yeah, when you're at the mall, or I don't know, at a flea market, or if you're just going online and you want to get a nice set of knives to start with, if you're collecting knives, always get a little 4 set like this. They're pretty nice to start out with. This was actually my very first set of pocket knives right here. So this is totally worth 10 to 20 bucks. If you find them cheaper, awesome. Please comment. Now, the movie 12 Years a Slave, I thought it was a awesome, excellent, very well done movie. It was based off a true story. And one of the things that I enjoyed about it was that it was very in-depth. It went into detail. And another thing that I liked about it was it actually talked about something that was barely mentioned in some slave movies: the relationship between the slave and the slave master. Sometimes in that time period, a slave master might just buy a slave to be a companion or someone to make love to, and that's 2 of the slave masters in this movie. And sometimes there was abusive, violent slave masters who just beat and tortured the slaves and wasn't treating them as human beings, and it was horrific. So I feel this was a dead-on movie talking about what actually happened in that time period. So this right here is a perfect educational movie. I know people might say, oh, that movie can't be really educational. Well, it was very dead on what was going on in that time period. Awesome movie. It's rated R. I think it's 3 or 2.5 hours long. It's a long movie, so you gotta make sure you have plenty of time to watch it. And it also shows what other countries were thinking about that area of the U.S. at that time. There is a scene in it where there was a man from Canada came down to the U.S., the southern part of the U.S., to work for a little bit. Can't go into detail because it'll ruin the movie. Awesome movie. Got to watch it. On a scale of 1 through 10, I have to give it a 10. Totally worth watching. Can't wait to pop this in later on. Such a great movie. There is some very depressing scenes. Nothing is, I do not recommend you watching this with anyone who's under 15. It has some brutal scenes. Brutal. But you make the choice. The Batman comic. The 2002 Batman comic, DC. I shouldn't even have to say DC. I think that's kind of like common sense that Batman is a DC character. But anyways, can't go too much into the art, because if I go too much into the art, because my favorite drawing in this particular Batman comic will totally ruin most of the story. I'll just talk a little about how Robin acts in this particular comic. Please look for this at a comic book shop, and the reason why I'm saying look for this one is because I haven't ran into it again quite yet. I got this when I was a young kid. Remember, it's 2002, but there's a scene in this comic where Robin kind of has the same flaw as Batman in a way, where he kind of falls for the villain. Well, he falls for the villain's sidekick. So in a way, it's kind of interesting seeing a different side of the young Robin. I'm not talking about Nightwing, I'm not talking about Red Hood, I'm talking about young Robin. Where you see more of a romantic side of Robin. Especially how young he looks in this is kind of interesting. It's kind of bizarre, but interesting. So yeah, check this out. Tell me what you think. Thank you, YouTube. Peace out.